Hey everybody, welcome to Slash Bash, where today I am bringing you another Choosing Beggar Reddit video. Now today my son told me that for everybody who subscribed to Slash Bash, one Choosing Beggar is put on Santa's naughty list, and he's a pretty reliable kid. In our first story, our OP learns just how difficult selling art can be when you are selling to a Choosing Beggar. Let's jump right in. This goes back from a few years ago when I had my first art commissions. My prices were and still are very low, especially for stylized portraits. I wasn't the best out there, but for a couple of bucks it wasn't bad. It still haunts me to this day, and every time I do a commission, I get scared it will happen again. Anyway, the original conversation is in French, so here's the translation. At the time I'm 16, and I think that the Choosing Beggar is probably over 18 because she had a lot of tattoos. I created the portrait and then I sent the picture. I know, not very smart, but it was my first commission. I was supposed to ship the original to her. Wow, very cool. Better than the last? She had made me make some changes. Yeah, definitely. Good. A day passes, so I message her again. Hello, is it possible to pay today so I can ship it to you? I don't have the money at the moment, as I told you before. She didn't. I will pay you when I do. Okay. 2 days later. Hi, don't forget about me. She didn't respond. Another day later. Hi. I get money on the 31st at my birthday. At this point, I was getting frustrated with her since she's way older than me. You know, it's not very smart to buy a product if you don't have the money to pay for it. By the way, it was $10. I'm sorry? I didn't think you would do it in one day. It has now been a week since I first told her the price. You know what? Let's forget about it. My God, sorry for being poor. I'm just saying it's not very smart. I took my time, but especially I took my materials to create something you would like. It's my job, so I would like to get paid, that is all. I'll only have money on the 1st. Then I'll wait until the 1st, just if there's a next time, it'd be better to plan ahead. The 28th, I sent another message to let her know I was going on a trip with my family. She said she does the same. I then sent her a message the next month, the 8th. I suppose you are free now? I don't have any money left. You never texted me again. Is this some kind of joke? I don't find it funny. Look, I just came back from my trip. Sorry, I guess. But it's not smart from you to have spent all your money either. I don't find it funny either. I spent time and resources to do your portrait, and the fact that you can't even care to save a little bit of money for it hurts me. Also, it's my pay. A portrait like this would usually cost $40 at least. I don't understand why you can't gather around $10 for the work I did. Huh, excuse me. You didn't even spend 3 hours on it, and it's ugly. It doesn't even look like me, so let's just let it go already. You buy something from someone, you pay. It's a given. I spent 3 hours on it because I've spent the last 10 years drawing every day, striking to be better. You sent me a picture and I worked with what I had. I couldn't do better if I tried. After that, she just sent me a thumbs up. It's not the most original story out there, but it still gets me. It was my first commission ever, and for 6 months, I doubted myself, thinking nothing I did was enough. Looking back at it, the drawing is really not that bad, but I guess it was my fault for sending a full picture to her before the payment. Clearly, mistakes were made, but I give this OP full credit for having the right attitude in this situation. You can tell that this is not going to be repeated. In story 2, we see that sometimes you need to relocate your Choosing Beggar across town, away from where you live. This happened back in the spring of 2019. My wife and I bought a house recently, and sometime in the spring I got the idea to wash our cars. It's weird, but we were both pretty psyched that we had a driveway to do this all in. So we got all the stuff we needed, buckets, soaps, car sponges, microfiber cloths, etc., and got ready to head outside to wash our cars. In the span of what was about 5 minutes between my wife opening our garage door and backing her car out, and me grabbing our Bluetooth speaker, she's approached by a man walking down the street. He waved, and her being a sweet person, she waves back. He introduced himself as a neighbor. She asked him where he lived nearby, and he deflected. Before I made it to the garage, he had asked her if she could give him a ride to a lake nearby. When I finally walked out, he was standing right next to her while she was Googling cab companies, since we weren't planning on going anywhere that day. After us going through the options, we settled on offering to get him an Uber because he was really starting to make my wife uncomfortable, but she still wanted to help. It's at that point he asked if we could get him some water, and if we had somewhere he could sit down. I asked her to go get him a cup of water because she was getting visibly nervous at this point, so she does that. This is where he started getting uppity with us. While she was inside, he started asking more and more about somewhere to sit, but I explained several times that I didn't have any seats I could offer him, and I wasn't going to invite him inside. I pointed to some bricks outside he could sit on, but that was a firm no from him. It was too hot out for him on this scorching 72-degree day. Finally, I just opened the rear door of my car and let him sit there. My wife comes out with the glass of water and he asks if it's filtered water. I tell him yes, that we keep filtered water in the fridge, but that's not filtered enough for him. He wants bottled spring water or RO, not filtered tap water. I'm beyond annoyed at this point and just ready to get him away from my house as quickly and as far as possible, since now he's past just scaring my wife, but he's now demanding things from us. I didn't want to just ask him to leave, threaten him, or call the police, because I didn't want to anger him with my pregnant wife standing there. So I go inside and grab my keys and tell him I will just take him where he wants to go. I quickly learn I made a mistake because the entire ride went like this. Turn the air conditioning down. I thought he was hot, but whatever. Then he fumbles around with the seat. How can I make the seat lean back? I need you to sit up so you don't get hurt if we get in an accident. Besides, I don't remember exactly where the lever is to do that. Please don't mess with it. Every car's seats can go back, so how do I do it? I don't know, but we're almost there, so please leave it alone. I need a place to stay. Can you look up apartments here that are below $500 a month? He had his own smartphone he wouldn't get off of the whole time he was texting people. After giving him a few places to look at, he starts rifling through my car for a pen, finding a hand sanitizer pen I have in the car and messing with it before realizing he can't write with it. Thankfully, it's only about a 10-minute drive to where he wanted to go, and I drop him off in a very public area. In hindsight, I wouldn't have helped him at all, especially since he clearly only approached our house when my wife was alone outside, and he seemed very irritated with me the whole time. In story 3, we have a choosing beggar on Mother's Day who can't plan ahead, and so she needs to scam some chocolates from our OP. There's a chocolate shop in my state that my mom absolutely loves. They make super high quality chocolate. The stuff is not cheap, it's about $30 per pound. They opened up orders for pickup and I placed a relatively large order wanting to make my mom feel special for Mother's Day. I went to go pick up the chocolate and let the girl out front know that I was there to pick up my order. As I was sitting there in my car, a woman pulled up and asked to go inside the store. The girl out front said they weren't letting people in and they weren't taking any more orders. They were in fact filling orders like mine that were placed 3 weeks ago. The woman started blubbering, but the girl out front wasn't having it. As this was happening, another employee carried my large bag of chocolates out. The woman came up to my car and asked for some of my chocolate since I had a big order and she wanted to give something to her grandmother. I felt a little bad and said I could give her a 1-pound assortment box I got, not my mom's favorite. I asked her to give me $30. The woman was furious, saying, $30? That's ridiculous! Why are you gouging me on Mother's Day? What's wrong with you? I said that $30 was about what I paid. She said, "Can I have it for $15? My grandmother was such a great woman." She started talking about how her grandmother was alive during World War II, etc. I said sorry, $30 or nothing, and she called me a witch. So, that was my Saturday. In our final story, we have an amazing opportunity, not just one job, but 12 of them. Greetings. I'm seeking a female, ideally to live with us, but I could consider other options if close by, to work full-time in our home and adjacent offices. I work from here and would like someone to care for my son, who's 5, and my daughter, who's 4 months, a few hours a week when I can't. Ideally speaking Spanish to both of us so we can learn if that were possible, but not required. I also need some help daily with cleaning, organizing, cooking, cleaning up after, and walking dogs and cats and various errands around the house and outside of the home. I can provide a car for such requests, but having your own car is preferred. We prefer having a live-in situation because the ideal schedule would involve a morning shift and a late afternoon shift. We would also pay for weekend help and cover meals. I run several businesses, and this job also entails assistant help, so it would be important that you are versed in using a computer, typing, and have the ability to write professionally. You would know how to use Excel, Google Docs, and do internet research. The person must be outgoing and kind and comfortable in authority positions, as this job often requires managing others and often requires talking to people on the phone about bills, property issues, and other business tasks. The job also requires respect, as several managers would be involved in tasking for the job, including my husband. This person should also have a great memory, follow through, and be organized. I'm also hoping that for a few hours a week, this person has an interest in music and becoming a sound engineer, because I record music in our studio and will need help with this. I will provide training for this. Lastly, this person will be required at times to help with property management and construction, so having physical strength is ideal. It is a fairly active job in general, so being reasonably fit and in shape would also be helpful. Anyone who has had this position before has learned a lot and ended up working within one of our companies. The job is fun and always different, and most people enjoy that it's not just childcare or just cleaning. However, I am seeking someone who would be interested in long-term and is comfortable with this position longer-term until my daughter is in school, 3 years. Please don't apply if you plan to move or obtain a different job within that time frame due to schooling or something of that nature. Steady raises and perks will be offered to a candidate who excels. A base pay will be low to start due to the virus outbreak and losing a great deal of our clients. But when we are back at full steam, raises will be available as well as commission, and we will cover food, lodging, and toiletries and such. If this position interests you, message me so we can talk ASAP. What an astounding offer! Millions of tasks? Check. Multiple bosses? Check. I get to be a professional writer and a day laborer? Check. All this and low pay? Priceless. This has been John from Bash. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed the video and want to see more of them, hit that subscribe button. We'd love for you to drop a like, share it with your friends, and we'll see you in the next one.